Hi again, this is Phil Biedron with Ken Sanders. My next question for you is, you have your production company. What are the risks involved of running your production company and being the producer?
Well, that's a great question. I suppose the obvious risk that any producer takes is the financial risk of the film itself, and whether hopefully you're going to break even and make some money on it down the road.
You have the most to lose?
You definitely have the most to lose, especially if it's your money. And I have on occasion used my money and on occasion not, but whether it's mine or it's somebody else's, I feel a responsibility as a producer to make sure that the investor, whoever that is going to get their money back. I mean, that is my that is my primary responsibility in some ways. So there's always that risk. Every time you start a movie, you risk that capital, and that's real capital. That's real money in somebody's pocket that you can't flitter away. I mean, at the studio level, it's a little different, because it's not usually an individual or a group of individuals. It's it's big corporate money. I mean, that's a different thing. But on the independent level, that's somebody's money. So there's that. I would also say that your questions could be answered in a way that I think any business person in any business would answer it, which is that when you are the employer of record, when you are running a business in any city or in any state in this country, you take on a lot of liability. There are risks associated with people's safety on a set. There are other risks associated with complying with, frankly, a very lengthy and complicated and often impossible to understand list of rules, regulations, and laws that seem to be evolving and getting bigger and getting more complicated every year. Listen, any business person wants to always follow the rules, do it right, keep everybody safe, and it's an enormous responsibility. So you take on those kinds of risks every time you especially go out on a movie set. So I have to worry about a lot of those things. That's the thing you are required to do as an entrepreneur, but it has its rewards as well. It's a wonderful thing. It's a great thing about America, is that you can be an entrepreneur, you can take these risks, and hopefully down the line you can get a reward out of it. So I mean, I have no complaints, but I will say that oftentimes, I would say to the employee of any company, whoever you're working for, appreciate your boss, because your boss has a lot on the line, and and it's not an easy world to run a company in or to be a boss in, no matter what the business, a restaurant business, anything, but the risks are the risks. If you know what you're doing and you hire the right people and you keep an eye on things, it's all going to be fine, and you play by the rules and you do it right, and it's all good.
You mentioned being the boss and an entrepreneur, so
Yeah.
who would check you? Do you have someone that are you the top dog?
No, I am definitely not the top of the food chain. I certainly don't want to give that impression. Listen, I oftentimes have financial backers, financial partners, creative partners involved in these films, different individuals, different companies, and they certainly would oftentimes have the right to make final decisions, whatever those issues might be. And then if you're selling ultimately to whatever entity you're selling to, studio, network, VOD platform, whatever it is, they're going to have certain requirements, they're going to want certain things, and they may ultimately dictate part of your content, and they may ultimately dictate financial decisions that you make, and that's life. I mean, that's part of being in business, and you accept that.
Yeah, who's writing the paycheck?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, Ken. I'll have another question for you in a moment.
Okay.